speaker is Josh Bernstein. He's a talk show host. He's a political analyst. He's a commentator and professional speaker. He's one of America's most sought-after television and radio guests, and he delivers very unique and original perspectives, which I have heard of multiple times, and I'm never disappointed. He has great commentary and great topics. So his main areas, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to turn it over to him so you can hear what he has to say. Let's give him a huge round of applause and welcome him.
How's everybody doing? Good. We had some great speakers, didn't we? Excellent. Lots of information. So the first thing I'm going to say is God bless the incredible state of Louisiana. But yes, of course, Arizona. I've been here for 31 years. This is my home. But I want to give some real praise to Louisiana. Leslie kind of stole a little bit of my thunder there, but we'll continue on. This is a gift from the Supreme Court. That's how it started, okay? Now, you need to understand that the redistricting, and I'll go through kind of the numbers here, okay? So you got Florida, 4 more seats. You got Texas that has 5 more seats. Louisiana, which is the Cali versus Louisiana decision, which this whole thing started on, is now going to go back to the original map instead of the gerrymandered map. So they're going to get their seat back. Alabama is working right now. They're still working on it. Mississippi, Tate Reeves, the governor, said that he was planning on doing something on May 23rd. You mentioned that there's some other stuff going on, but I have a feeling that one's going to work out fine. There was just breaking news today about South Carolina. They are now calling for a special session. That happened maybe 30 minutes ago. So that'll be at least 1 more seat. Basically, you can pretty much say that the South is gone for the Democrats. It's gone. It's gone. Because the only way that you would ever get any seats in the South is to gerrymander. And now, of course, there is no gerrymandering. Tennessee, God bless Tennessee for what they have been able to do. Okay, you've got an extra seat there. Ohio, they've already done it a while back, so there's 2 seats there. North Carolina, there's another seat. Missouri, thankfully, did it months ago. And again, as I said, with South Carolina. So that is a total of about 16 seats right now. Okay? And there's probably 3 to 4 more that are working. Now, I'm going to give you a way that we can literally redistrict the entire Northeast without winning an election. How can we do that? That's impossible, right? No, it isn't. So, listen to this. Massachusetts, 36% Republican, 0 seats. Connecticut, 42% Republican, 0 seats. Maine, 46% Republican, 0 seats. Rhode Island, 42% Republican. This is identifying voters in the state. 42% are Republican voters, 0 seats. Vermont, 32% Republicans, 0 seats. Delaware, 42% Republican, 0 seats. Now, with the Calais decision, okay, and we're going to get into the SAVE Act in a little bit, but with the Calais decision alone, all we need to attack these Northeast seats that have been gerrymandering for many, many years and have 0 representation are organizations or individuals that challenge the maps. It's as simple as that. We would need organizations and individuals. So you could do that here in Arizona, even though we have an illegitimate governor, an illegitimate Secretary of State, and an illegitimate Attorney General. None of those 3 were elected, right? They were selected based on the 2020 stolen election. And one thing I do disagree with Mr. Glassman is you actually can get rid of Chris Mays. It's called a criminal conspiracy charge that is being conducted right now in Washington, D.C., which I believe in about mid-2027, you are going to see a 6 to 7 state indictment of a criminal conspiracy on the 2020 election. And at that point, who knows? We're going to see what's going to happen, okay? So that was the other thing. But how can you do this? Well, all you have to do is challenge that right here in Arizona. We could have an organization challenge the maps here. Find out if they're gerrymandered. Believe me, the Supreme Court's just dying. They're chomping at the bit to get a case like that. They've already made the decision. We already have legal precedent with Calais versus Louisiana. Let's take advantage of that. We have rhinos in the Senate that refuse to pass the SAVE Act. Could you imagine if we redistrict these blue states? And it wouldn't probably happen now in 2026, but it would be set up for 2028. You would throw out those maps. You would make those states more competitive. Those 42, 45, 46% Republicans can now win different districts, and we can grow the map and we can destroy the left. And that's what this is all about. I'm an ideas guy. I've been doing this for 14 years, and that's my big thing on that. Now, passing the SAVE Act. Imagine if we were redistricting, which we're doing, thankfully, and we also had the SAVE Act. Think about it. Over 75 to 80 countries, maybe even more than that, around the entire world have voter ID. I mean, it's ridiculous that an 80 to 85% issue the Senate refuses to take up. So you have a couple of different ways that you can pass the SAVE Act. Number one, you could use the talking filibuster, or because most of these folks are, octogenarians, they don't want to stand up very long, you could have a sitting filibuster. And the minute they stop talking, boom, we start right away. Now, a couple of months ago, we had 49 votes. Susan Collins came aboard and said, yep, we've got that. I even thought at the time, perhaps maybe even Fetterman was going to be 50 votes, and we might not even have needed J.D. Vance. But at this point right now, it's stalled. Why is it stalled? I don't know. We've got to get rid of John Thune. If you want to hear the truth. So that's one way we can pass it. The second way is exactly what I just said. Get rid of John Thune. This is Mitch McConnell's female dog, if you will. I'll keep the language out of it. And Mitch McConnell is not a senator anymore. He's a corpse. Yeah. He's worse than Biden, if you want to know the truth. Okay? Yeah. And there's a staffer that's been running his Senate campaign. We just the other day, the guy who was talking to him in his ear. He's like a puppet. He's got his hand up. Never mind. And so this is who and what is going on right now. We literally have, a chief of staff that's acting as the senior senator in the state of Kentucky. What the hell? That is absolutely crazy when you think about it. So you only need 5 senators to replace John Thune. Just 5. And I think there's at least 5 that would call, a special session to be able to do that. And then, of course, you have silent votes, and you figure it out from there. Look what Matt Gaetz was able to do to Kevin McCarthy. Took 14, 15 rounds, still got rid of him, didn't it? So you could do the same thing in the Senate. You need 5 Republicans. There's one other way that no one is really talking about, although I will have to give Senator Kennedy, the ever so funny senator from Louisiana, some props. He talked about using reconciliation to pass the SAVE Act. Now, on its surface, I agree with Mike Lee, and I agree with Anna Polina. There's no way in its current form that it would ever pass. However, what if we turned it, instead of election policy, into fiscal policy? What if we put the money that's needed to put in the verification systems, almost like an E-Verify, if you will, across the entire United States, every single state, probably put a couple of $1 million towards it. Now all of a sudden it's fiscal policy, not just election policy. That way you have the mechanisms in place to check for IDs, to check for citizen status, all of those things. And then what you do is you get some hotshot lawyers. I'm sure there's a lot of them that can, work on the language and things like that. Twist it, turn it, make it, put it in there, and put it up in front of the Senate parliamentarian and say, hey, this is now election, not just election integrity, but this is now fiscal policy. We are showing you that it actually will satisfy the Byrd Rule and the Budget Control Act, right? So there are ways to do it. So he is correct, But it's something that Republicans would have to figure out. They'd have to hire the right attorneys that would look at it. Perhaps maybe the organization that you represent could talk to some of these folks and see if we can get this done. But we can't just sit back and allow John Thune and the Rhino Republicans to not pass an 85% issue. This is ridiculous. And think about this. The senator from Ohio, Bernie Moreno, recently tried a watered-down version of the SAVE Act. We're talking just voter ID, nothing else. Not proof of citizenship, nothing else. And they couldn't even get that passed. As a matter of fact, there were 10 Democrats just like 2 years ago that said that they were for voter ID. So he probably figured, okay, well, maybe we can just get voter ID. Not one, not even Fetterman, by the way, voted for that. Imagine that. So you know they want to cheat in elections, okay? That's the bottom line. They have no policies that anyone sane would certainly want to associate with. They completely are just, power hungry. They'll do anything and everything for power. I say this all the time. They would slit their mother's throat and drink her blood if it knew that they'd be in power long enough. That may sound harsh, but it's the truth. So those are the things that we need to work on now. The other thing I wanted to talk about is campaigning in general. We are seeing something so incredible happen right now in the Los Angeles mayoral race. Okay? Spencer Pratt is not only winning by double digits, because I've talked to someone inside his campaign and his internals are huge right now. But not only is he winning, but you know what else he's doing? He's putting campaign managers, staffers, and consultants out of business. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing, because he's proving that in today's age, in 2026, all you need is to be bold and brave, which is the title of my book, Bold and Brave Solutions to Save America and Create Permanent Freedom. Get into that a little bit later. But being bold and brave, having a message, and being fearless, that's what it's about. Here's someone that had a personal tragedy. These idiots in California, which, by the way, the reserves are still not filled with water. You'd think maybe when you're running, to be the mayor, you'd probably want to put a little water in there just to save face. They don't even have any water in them still, okay? And we could get into the whole Linda and Resnick and the water barons that made this deal with current authority in California that diverted 50% of the water capacity out of Los Angeles so that they could have their wonderful pistachios and wonderful cuties and the rest of the garbage that they sell. Linda and Frank Resnick, I think is their names, but that's a story for another day. What he is doing right now is winning on the message. He's being bold, he's being brave, and quite frankly, he's killing them. He's killing them with AI, he's killing them with memes, all these different things, and he's proven that you don't need this anymore. You don't need a ton of money and millions of dollars to become a candidate and run. You just have to be pissed off, have good ideas, can be, articulate with what you want to do if you were elected, and then you need to be very good with social media and technology. And whoever is and can do that, they can win, not just in Los Angeles, you can do that in almost any blue city. You can basically say, because all the blue cities are in shambles, so we need more Spencer Pratts to say, look at New York, you just hired a DSA communist, socialist Islamist. Okay, great, wonderful. Now the city's even worse than it ever was. Who's gonna be the person in New York that says, I'm done, I'm gonna take what Spencer Pratt just did, and I'm gonna run with it? And that's what we need. We need more people to do that. And the last thing that I want to talk about is we are winning. And we are winning big in so many ways. I don't care if the gas is $10 a gallon, to be quite honest. Let me explain. People can't have the vision past the tip of their nose a lot of times. They just see the gas prices, they see the stagnant, inflation rising, and they see what's going on. They think it's a quagmire. They're listening to the prostitutes in the media, lying to them all the time. And they start to buy into the BS. And they start to say, oh, maybe things aren't as good as they are. Are you kidding me? We just decimated China. 13% of their oil was coming from Venezuela, okay? The other 87%, guess where? Iran, exactly. And so there you go, we've wiped all of that out. We have reset the global order. We are now the world's #1 crude oil reserve country by far. Venezuela was #1 on the list. #2 was Saudi Arabia. We were like 10th. As soon as we extracted Maduro, we moved up to #1. Well, who do you think #3 is on that list? Iran. So when you have 1 and 3 plus your own 10, you're talking 565 billion oil crude reserves. You know what that means? Ever hear of OPEC? What OPEC? OPEC. Never heard of it. OPEC is irrelevant. We are OPEC. If you want oil after this war is done, you've got two choices. The United States of America or Saudi Arabia. Maybe a little bit Kuwait, but that's about it. So what do you think is going to happen? We have now completely decimated our enemies by doing what we did. So maybe some of the domestic policies right now are stalled because of the rhinos in the Senate, but that doesn't mean that President Trump just sat there and said, well, I can't get my domestic policy done, so I guess I'll just sit this out. Nope. I think I'll rearrange the entire world's global order in less than 2 years. That will be the man's legacy. Guaranteed. So, please join me. I'm going to be doing some book signings if you want one of the books. Preserving Liberty, I wrote it myself.